Do you have those days where you just need to, like, close your eyes and take a deep breath? And maybe you need to take many deep breaths, right? And I think that natural, normal for this time of year. Your school year may have already ended for your kids, or maybe it's ending soon. And that you just spent another 9 months trying to outwit, outplay, and outlast a school system that counts on you burning out. Now, you've made it to June, but your body may still be in that survival mode. Like that hyper alertness of like, when is that next IEP meeting going to be? Did I write it on the calendar? Oh, why haven't I gotten the email back from the special ed director? What does this mean? Or, I've got to put this other thing on my list. My to-do list is growing. And I know that feeling because I've had those feelings too. And as an advocate, I sometimes find myself replaying IEP meetings from this past school year and thinking, what could I have said better? What could I do next time? And the other thing I think it's important for us to know is that burnout looks different for different people. For me, when I feel that sensation of this is a lot to deal with, I become crabby, especially to my poor husband. I want to be left alone. I don't want people talking to me until I'm ready. So I don't know. If you're watching this live or on the replay, welcome and let us know where you're watching from because it's always good to be able to say hi to you. And I think the other thing that we want to look at is that this is like at a very typical normal thing. When you look at the intense things that you've been dealing with this past school year, it's really easy to have that summer burnout feeling. And I want you to know, I'm not going to give you a blueprint for do these three. Can I hold up 3 fingers? Do these 3 quick fixes and it will erase your burnout. I don't have it. But I do have some other things that we're going to share today. So stay tuned. And so I promise we are going to be looking at some beliefs that we have been carrying around for a while that it's time we release them. And one of those beliefs is that doing more equals doing better. How many of us fall into that trap where if I do more research, if I show up at more PTO events, if I go to board meetings, if I do this, and it becomes this mad circle of trying to do more to get things to change. And guess what? That doesn't always happen, right? Because you've been doing more. And how much better has it gotten? And doing more, I think also is, I don't know, part of that mom guilt, right? We can easily fall into that mom guilt. And I remember a story that Kathy Snow shares, and Kathy is the author of the book Disability is Natural. And we both lived in Woodland Park, Colorado. And when her son Benjamin, who has cerebral palsy, was in first grade, she was picking up Benj and a couple of his friends. She was carpooling, and his friends were talking about what they were going to be doing after school. And Benjamin just started sobbing and sobbing. And Kathy said, "What's wrong, Benjamin?" And he said, "I can't have fun. I have to go to therapy." And it was like, wow, out of the body of this little first grader, right? And Kathy said, "What, Benj?" And he said, "No, I'm tired. I don't want to keep doing therapy." And it just took Kathy by surprise, but she thought he gets school-based OT, PT, speech services. He gets private OT, PT, speech services. And before moving to Colorado, Kathy had thought, you know what? He only gets 30 minutes a week of private PT, 30 minutes for private OT, 30 minutes speech. If 30 minutes a week is good, I bet 60 minutes a week of each of those therapies would be better. And so she had signed Benjamin up. When they moved to Colorado, she kept that schedule going. And guess what? Doing more was not better for Benjamin. So doing more, staying up late, not getting sleep, right? That doesn't usually equate to being better the next day. So let's get rid of that unwanted belief that doing more is actually better. But I also want to tell you, and I put these up here so you remember, that I want you to leave today with permission to be tired and permission to stop proving yourself. And as I was putting the conversation together, so remember, it's a conversation, you need to join in. I was thinking, have you heard that saying, we teach what we need to learn? So this is very true because these are things that I need to learn also. Permission to be tired, permission to stop before you get tired, right? And I also want you to leave today with permission to choose just one small thing that you can do today that nourishes you, that gives you peace, that gives you a few minutes to yourself. So, what do you think could be one small thing that has worked for you in the past when you do that? And let us know in the comments because then we can share those and everybody can get ideas from each other. So, thank you for being here. Let's move on here. So, the other thing is, I think when I look at what are some of the causes of this advocacy burnout that I really think we all feel, and it back to that feeling in your body that you're in that survival mode, that you're putting one foot in front of the other foot, that you're somehow surviving on 2 hours of sleep, that you're drinking more coffee during the day. That survival mode keeps you stuck, right? The other problem I see is so many parents, and this may be you, almost walk away from an IEP meeting feeling like you're invisible. Did they even hear anything that I said? And like I said earlier, the big systemic problem is our school system bet plays the odd that you are going to burn out, stop, give up, concede. And it's just a matter of time. And so many school systems have perfected that pushback until you give up. So, what are some of the things that you have been experiencing? What does burnout, what does the advocacy, what does that look like for you? Because, like we said earlier, trying to prove your worth through overworking. And I'm going to pause here. I have my mug that's on this side says up until now. So, one of the things that I've recently learned about myself is I equate my overworking, my addiction to work, as a way of me proving my worth. So let that sink in. I have had this concept, I think, since very young, that when you overwork, that's when you get results. I remember being called an overachiever in school. And I felt like I wanted to be more than just average. In order to be more than just average, I had to overwork. And that's a belief that I have been carrying with me for decades. And so when I look at advocacy burnout, geez, Charmaine, look at yourself. Look at how many times you push yourself to say, no, I need to get this done before I go to bed. I still have these 3 things. I got to get this done. And that is not healthy, right? So, one of the things that I have been just recently doing is going back to something that makes me happy. That, like, just is like fulfilling for me, right? And so, one of one of the things in my past life is I used to buy white silk and hand dye it and make one-of-a-kind garments and sell them in places like Santa Fe or art shows in Aspen. And I even took a sabbatical from teaching one year to do my fiber arts. And anyway, it wasn't a sabbatical. I couldn't, it was a leave. Yeah, I didn't get paid. But so I have lots of silk remnants from all these garments that I've sewed over the years. And so I've started going back to my remnants and playing with them to make collages. And it's not anything that's going to change the world. It's not going to make a difference for kids at school, but it makes a difference for me and it feeds me. So I was going to show you one that I have done. This is not a recent project, but for some reason, I haven't finished this project. I think I'm going to do some beading on it, but yeah, but it just brings me happiness when I see this. And so, what is something that brings you happiness? And we see we have some comments. Hey, Mindy. Yeah, constant need to move things forward. Yeah, that productivity mindset. Oh, look. And Mindy has some ideas crafting, art, creating, gardening as a release. Paula Clue, how are you? Yeah. So finding that little thing that maybe you did before you had kids and giving yourself permission to take, even if it's a few minutes, right? Like, I don't have an expectation that I'm going to sit down every day for 4 hours and do my fiber arts. However, I do have an expectation that every day I'm going to play a little bit and I'm going to do the next step in designing this collage that will be fun for me. So yeah, what is that thing that would be like? Sometimes it's just like your playlist, right? Like music. I love it. And Paula says, love the art. Thank you. So Paula, tell us, what do you do for relaxation? I know you live in Wisconsin now, and yeah, I visualize lake and nature and yeah, and I used to take brain breaks, and my virtual background today is from a photo I took last summer. But yeah, and I haven't been doing that where I would just sit on my back porch swing and just look at the flowers, the trees, and listen to the birds. And it's like, why don't I do that now? That's an easy thing I could do. So what's an easy thing that you could do today that would give you that brain break? Yes, reading for fun. And that's, yeah, and I don't do that. It's like all the books I read are related to school inclusion. It's like reading for fun. My husband does that really well. He loves like Tom Clancy books and such. But yeah, getting lost in a favorite book and just, yeah, that that's a great feeling. And Paula says, nothing schoolish. Yes. Yeah, because we do need that time to rest and replenish. And we don't have to wait for summer to do that. So, one of the other habits I have, and I was going to share this with you. I don't know if you've ever heard of EFT, emotional freedom tapping. And so I won't explain exactly all of the kind of science behind it, but tapping is something that I have been trying to make a daily habit for a long time. And I do well for about 3 or 4 days, and then I stop, and then I gotta kinda get back on the tapping wagon. But I found this the other day. It's the app I have, and I think it's called Tapping Solution. But the neat thing is they have a variety of tapping that you can listen to and do from 2 minutes to 15 minutes. So you can pick just 2 minutes in your morning, Charmaine, to do these tappings. So I'm going to try to share my screen here and do something really fancy. I got to get to the right place here and connect. So I have this thing called phone mirroring, and I hope it's going to connect. Have anybody else heard of EFT? Anybody else do that? Okay, so let me see here. Sorry. You know how it is. You need a producer around here. Where is my producer? Okay, so okay, it's coming up. So it's called Tapping Solution. I'm going to go over here. And this is really fun. And I can't make this any larger, so I apologize. But I have a background of trees, so you can have some nature too. So this is called an anxiety soother, which I love. So what you can do is you can go through the cards and pick a card. And here it is our card. It says, in this moment, I am safe and secure. And then when you flip the card, it gives you things to say for each of the tapping points. And what I'm going to do is play this 2-minute video. Let me make sure I'm starting at the beginning. And what I usually do when I'm tapping is I'll close my eyes and I just say the sentences or the prompts in my head. So feel free to watch, feel free to tap along with us. It's just a quick 2 minutes, but it's fun and it works. So here we go.
Tapping on the side of the hand. Repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. Even though I'm feeling uneasy, I remind my body that I am safe. Moving to the eyebrow plate, I ground myself in this moment. Side of the eye, right now and right here. Under the eye, I am safe. Under the nose, I can rest in this present moment. Under the mouth, I give my mind and body a break. Collarbone, and I notice the comfort around me. Under the arm, in this moment. Top of the head, I am safe and secure. Take a gentle breath in and exhale.
So that may not be for you. Find something that connects with you. I know I have a friend, and for her, sitting down at a table and working on a puzzle for a few minutes in the evening is what relaxes her. So, yes, I hope that you give yourself permission to be tired, to take rest. Give yourself permission to cross out some things on that to-do list before you even do them. And give yourself permission to feel what you feel. So if this has resonated with you and you have a friend that it's like, this would be perfect for her to hear, this video will stay on Facebook for 30 days, but then Facebook has been taking your videos down after 30 days. So I'll also put my YouTube link in the comments for where you can catch other videos, like several videos with Dr. Paula Cluth. So until we see you again, may peace be with you, and may you take time for yourself. I'm Charmaine Tanner. My passion is to support parents that are advocating and speaking up for their children. And I want to help you make sure not only that your child is safe, happy, and learning, but that you also feel good about yourself and what you're doing. So take care, and we will see you again. And I have some outro music I forget to play.